Hey guys, Art131 here, and here's that old schedule. Oh yeah, and we're in week 6, which is just past the midterm, and if you didn't send your midterm, it's too late now. I said that was due in week 5, so week 5 is passed. I'm sorry for who didn't send it in, and thank you very much for who did. So, let's talk about assignment number 12, drawing with shapes, no lines. Actually, I'm going to change that to shades and no lines. I don't know why it wasn't like that before, but anyway, it's actually shading and no lines is what I think would sound better. Because that's exactly what it is. And the homework is drawing a tree with personality and a title. So you're going to come up with a title for your tree. You know, Crabby Old Man, or I'll show you some examples of that. Now let's talk about Bing and those images. So drawing with shading only, no lines. So that's exactly what it sounds like. Typically, a lot of subject matter is like that. Like if you were to take well, some faces. Certainly this one. Let me go back to this one, another one I have. So this drawing of a face is all shading. There's no lines. There's no lines like a pencil line. Maybe slightly here on the collar I see a line there, but it's very faint. Mostly the whole thing is shading, going from one shading to another, one area to another, tones that meet up with other tones and. So this darker tone meets with lighter tone. I've talked about this many, many times. And that's exactly what I'm talking about with this assignment. You know, there could be a sort of a broad shading line like right here, but it's not like a writing line. But certainly there's no like border line around the whole thing and a line around the nose and a line here and a line there that's drawing. I mean, that's a different style of drawing. This is more realistic because in reality, there aren't those border lines and lines around somebody's face or anything. There's no border line drawn around something that you're looking at. You just think it is, and you think maybe I have to draw like that, but you don't. You can draw with shading only, and shades that meet up with other shades. Darker shades meet up with lighter shades. In the background that's happening, and that's why the face and the hair come out. So that's what I'm talking about with this assignment. This ball here, I was trying to drum that up, it wouldn't come up. That ball is like that. It's just shading, that shades that meet other shades, and they're in. Let me see if it'll come up now. Yeah. So this is also like another assignment, but actually it's not in your class, so I'm going to add it in. But you could do the ball. This is an object. Shade it everywhere. Shades that meet with other shades. Don't draw a line. You may draw a slight, very, very faint line to get the ball correct or wherever you're going to put it. But when you shade, get rid of that line. Don't show the line anymore. I mean, you might even have to erase it out. So don't very, very lightly if you want to map out where the ball is going to go. And then start shading. So you're showing your light source, you know, cast shadow, big highlight here, lighter and lighter and darker as it goes around. And then you have that reflection mark down in here if you're going to do the ball. You can do any subject at all as long as it's shaded well with attention to your single light source and there's no lines. It's a challenge, but we've been actually drawing like that for a while. Let me show you another example somewhere here. Like this cube, or not a cube, whatever this is. There's actually a technical name for that shape, and I don't know what it is. If you can find out, email me, I'll give you extra credit. But this shape has several different tones that are represented by the light source coming in from this direction, one single light source, and where these edges are catching the light. But as you see, there's no lines on this thing at all. It's this tone meets this one, meets this one, meets that one, meets this one, and it's just where they meet and end that makes what is perceived like a line or an edge, but there's no line drawn. That's my point. That's my whole point. Rest my case. If you can do that, you are so cool. Because there's other ways of drawing. Of course, we're going to do that. Actually, in next week or in a couple of weeks, you're going to draw with ink. And that's all with lines and stippling and dots and marks. No shading as we know it. Right? With this hand here. This is minimal shading. It's kind of flat. More shading here. Look at all this shading. There's no lines in here. It's shading that meets up. That vein right there is a vein created by a shading mark on one side and a light side on the other, then back to shading. And then it looks like it's a vein sticking out. I see some lines there. Whoops. But mostly this does not have lines. Okay, so that's the challenge. Draw without lines. Shading only. Not really. Okay. It's hard to find real good examples of that, but they're around. Let me see, scroll down a little bit more. Pretty much that's what that is. Except for when you hone in, they're shaded with kind of scratchy marks that look like texture, like your skin is that scratchy, which isn't the greatest thing to be doing, really. Okay, here we go. There's no lines in here. This is shading that meets with shading, and then the teeth, and then there's no lines around the teeth. Border lines and stuff around the lips, no. So this is a good example. Okay, I think you got the point. It's that guy. And this is a really good example. Okay, and you can scroll through here and find better ones maybe or not. The ball is okay to do, like I mentioned. So get to that. Let's talk about the homework and the truth personality. Now I do have another example in my archives. Here we go. And you want to title it like a pleasant lady, a crabby old man. So this is kind of like a scary Wizard of Oz tree, right? This one's kind of flowing and full of life and beautiful and peaceful looking. Graceful maiden. I don't know why, but yeah. The trees can have personality because they're all a little different. The way their leaves are and their branches are and their foliage and how they may bend or maybe they're really old like an oak tree like this. It kind of looks like it's sort of not wrinkled, but knots and turns and everything like somebody crabby or scary. It could be a scario tree. And this one I think says awkward youth. So tall and lanky with not too much growth on it. Kind of odd. Maybe it's going to grow into something better later, more full, more look like a pine tree. So that's the idea. And we saw some other examples of that. It's the idea that each tree can be different. And then you're to make a title for that. It'd be great if you can actually go find a tree like this that you're going to draw. But if you have to make one up, then do that, all right? But each one's different, and you can come up with a different name for each one. But now you have to use your creativity. You have to come up with something on your own. Okay? You know, so you could actually add something in to your drawing if you wanted to. These are kind of cool. And title it. Okay, so, you know, look at this one. So cool. Whoa. Yeah. Now we're talking. I mean, you could put something into it like this and then title it. You can do more than just a tree. That's okay. Or you can do something that really super alluding to something like that, but you don't really see the person in here, but I almost do. It's kind of hidden, like seeing images in clouds. It evokes your viewer to come up with their own imagery on it and their own take on things. But I do want you to make a title for me, okay? All right, and all these are cool. These are super great. You know, for the leafless tree, the one that's sort of maybe half dead or lost its leaves or something, those are good ideas. Or if you just want to go for something like this, it's showing life, roots and growth. And here's a promising aspect, one apple left. So maybe it'll come back later. You know, all these trees have something. So find your tree, give it a title, draw it really well, or you can paint it if you're good at painting. We haven't done much painting in here. We're going to do a little painting at the end, but that's about it. Okay, so I'll leave it at that. That's the homework, and the number 12 was drawing with shades and no lines, even though it says shapes and no lines. That's why you want to watch the videos, because I make sense of it all then, right? Hopefully. All right, we'll talk with you later then.